everybody, and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel. United have won 3-1 at Everton. Massive win for more so a massive win for Ole than it is for the team or the fans, I suppose, on this occasion. Obviously we were desperate to win, but as has been in the press in the last couple of days, quite a few people suggesting that United have been in touch with Pochettino about the job. If that's true, we don't know if it's true. The Manchester Evening News broke the story, I believe. You would assume, being the Manchester Evening News, that they've got good links to Old Trafford. They're the ones that have said that Pochettino had been contacted. If it's true, and it's a big word, if it's true that Pochettino's been contacted, it still wouldn't surprise me to see the change happen during this international break. But it might not be true. We don't really know for sure that they have contacted him. So if that's the case, it does make it a really important win, and it was a good win. United played quite well today, especially the first half. They were easily the better team in the first half, although they lost a little bit of shape in the second half, especially after the substitutions were made. After the game, Ollie's gone into a little bit of a rant. It was almost not quite as bad, but it was almost a Kevin Keegan moment, his rant after the game, speaking about the United schedule, how they played on Wednesday night in Turkey, didn't get back till Thursday morning, and then having to play Saturday lunchtime or Saturday morning virtually at 12:30, isn't it? So he mentioned this in his press conference yesterday, and I spoke about it in my press conference reaction and match preview yesterday. I said he seemed to be getting his excuses in early. It's a relief that we actually won today, so it didn't sound like just an excuse. And he still came out with it and said, you know, it's shocking that United have had to play at 12:30, having played on Wednesday. I didn't really grasp it fully myself when I heard him say it. I did say yesterday that he's getting his excuses in early, but I now see a little bit more of his point. On BT after the game, I heard Rio speaking about it. I'm not 100% sure Rio really got it. Rio said, you know, that's the price of success. You're playing in the Champions League. He said, you know, it's not great, but we used to play sometimes on a Wednesday night and then have to play the Saturday lunchtime game. But I think another point that Ollie mentioned just tonight, which I didn't sort of think of yesterday, was that tomorrow afternoon, City are playing Liverpool. Now, City and Liverpool both played on Tuesday night. His argument wouldn't hold water if one of them played Tuesday and one of them Wednesday, but they both played on Tuesday night. So surely it makes sense for them to play on Tuesday night, for those to play the Saturday lunchtime game, and for United to play on Sunday, having played Wednesday. Now, I also get it that it's different TV companies now that are showing the games, but there must surely be a way around this for them to swap the games around or swap their viewing hours. I don't know what would have to be done. It's probably a deep conversation that they would have to have between themselves. But it's got to make sense, and I get Ollie's frustration. It's got to make sense if teams have played on a Tuesday night, especially both of them, so that it's not that one's got an advantage over the other. They both played on Tuesday night. Why can't they play the Saturday lunchtime game and be live on TV Saturday lunch? United, who played Wednesday, why can't they play Sunday afternoon and be the live game Sunday afternoon? So I don't know if there's a way around that. I don't know if the companies can speak to each other. Are they on different TV channels? I'm not even checked that out. One might be on BT, one on Sky. It probably is that way around. But he has got a good point, and it does need sorting out. Really, that it's a bit of a bad show. Ollie also mentioned Luke Shaw. This was part of his reasoning, really. He was talking about Luke Shaw having a hamstring injury. I hope Luke's all right. I've got to be honest, I was a bit surprised when he said it, because when I saw Luke Shaw get told the news on the screen that he was coming off, my opinion was that he looked a little bit surprised that he was coming off. He looked a bit shocked. I spoke to a couple of friends after the game about it. One friend agreed with me, definitely thought he looked shocked. Another friend said to me that, you know, at these games these days, there's no crowds. So they have footballs. If the ball goes into the stand, it takes a while to get it back. So they have footballs lying around the edge of the pitch. I've not rerun it yet, and I haven't seen it back. But another friend said to me that Luke Shaw kicked the ball away in annoyance, one of the loose balls at the side of the pitch. So if that's the case, I don't really, you know, I'm a bit confused, that's all I can say. I'm a bit confused. All he says that Luke Shaw's got an hamstring injury. Luke Shaw didn't seem very happy to be coming off the pitch. Hopefully he's all right for next week, whatever the reason is, because obviously it's the international break coming up. 2 weeks' time is the next league game. It was also pointed out on BT that United have got 10 points from 7 games, and they said that it's a better start than what they had last season. Well, if it's a better start than what they had last season, that's not really complimentary. It's just really pointing out how bad we were last year. So, but I suppose you could say at least there's an improvement. Joe Cole on the TV, I found this interesting. Joe Cole said McTominay and Fred look so solid in the middle of midfield and they give United a platform. This is what I've been talking about for weeks and weeks, if not longer. You know, when we were playing with only one player, I've started to call them proper midfield players. I was calling them defensive midfield players for a while, but a proper midfield player takes his defensive responsibilities, just like Paul Scholes said on the TV on Wednesday night in Turkey. A proper midfield player takes his defensive responsibilities equally seriously as to what he takes his attacking responsibilities. So McTominay and Fred to me are proper midfield players. I don't mind if Matic plays, but 2 of those 3 players, McTominay, Fred and Matic, need to be in the team. I've been saying that for weeks and weeks, if not months. Ollie's only really started doing it since the last international break, and he's done it most games. So well spotted, Joe Cole. It is important that 2 of those players play. And just to back that up, Leon Osman, he said, as organised as United were today, they were so difficult to beat because they were so well organised. In my opinion, that's purely and simply that we were playing 4-4-2. Some people might not have realised we were playing 4-4-2, but I'll explain that shortly. There's a video that you can watch called Ricky's Dream Team. I've put a team out there that I think would be United's best lineup. It is in 4-4-2, and it was really close to the team that I would like us to play a little bit more often today. Really close to it. Juan Mata on the right. A lot of people think obviously a back 4, say usual back 4 and the keeper, but in midfield in a 4-4-2, Juan Mata, intelligent player, gives easy balls, makes himself available. He did this today. He was heavily involved in United's equaliser. He gives the ball to Rashford in the inside left channel. He's great at coming in field to get involved, whereas when they get the ball, he does his defensive work and he gets in position. He's just a very intelligent player. Quite a few people say to me, oh, not Juan Mata, it should be somebody else. Trust me, Juan Mata is the best player we've got for that job. If we had somebody else better, if we had David Beckham or somebody else who's a natural right-sided midfield player, fine. But we haven't got somebody who does the job as well as Juan Mata does it, without any doubt. His positional sense is great, defensive duties, proper solid, he knows where to be, and then great player when he comes in field and gets involved in the game. As I say, he was involved in the goal, the equalising goal, with 2 passes, one to Rashford and gets it back and gives it to Luke Shaw. So I like Juan Mata wide on the right. Is the best of what we've got. We've got to play 2 out of 3. Fred, McTominay and Matic. Ollie seems to be going with McTominay and McTominay and Fred all the time. I feel a little bit sorry for Matic. When we got beat 6-1 by Spurs, all Matic played, but neither Fred nor McTominay played. And we got hammered 6-1. They came on at half time, both of them, by the way. And then after the international break, we've played against Newcastle, we've played against Chelsea, we've played against Arsenal, we've played against Leipzig, we've played against Besiktas here, and there's one other game that escapes me. I'm pretty sure there's one other game before today. But in all of those games, he played with McTominay and Fred, except against Leipzig. Against Leipzig, he played with Matic and Fred. And then all of a sudden, against Besiktas here on Wednesday night, neither McTominay nor Fred played, but Matic played. So on Wednesday night, it was the first time that only one of the 3 has played since we played Spurs. Trust me on this, it's no coincidence that it went poorly again. It's not because Matic played, it's because he's the only one who plays that role correctly. McTominay, Fred and Matic. 2 of those 3 players have got to play. The last 2 occasions that only one's played, it's gone terribly wrong. On both occasions, it was Matic. If it had been McTominay playing it alone, if it had been Fred playing there alone, it still would have gone wrong. He needs to play 2 of them, and he needs to keep that in his mind. no matter who we're playing against, by the way. So, yes, in my dream team, it's in 4-4-2. Today we were in 4-4-2. Marcus Rashford was on the left. Marcus Rashford, he's been in the team in recent weeks or recent months, often at the same time as Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood, and that's when we're in a shambles when we play like that. Normally, neither Greenwood nor Rashford take their defensive responsibilities as seriously as they should do when they are wide players. But I can understand why not. We're playing 4-3-3. They're probably told that we're playing 4-3-3, and they think they've got more licence to stay forward. But that means that if the opposition fullbacks get forward, it means they can often overload onto our fullbacks. If they don't track the fullback properly, our right back or our left back can get overloaded with his own man plus the opposition's fullback. So you need players who do that job correctly and do it enthusiastically and naturally. So I prefer 4-4-2. Marcus Rashford would not normally be my wide left player in a 4-4-2, but he did his defensive work great today. He really did, specifically the first half. You've got to get a foothold in the game. When you've got 2-1 lead, that's a proper foothold in the game. So we really did stick to our defensive work today. Whenever Seamus Coleman got on the ball today, Marcus Rashford was there forcing him back. If he managed to give a ball and get forward, Marcus would be after him. And he was never more. I reckon he was pretty, very rarely more than 5 or 8 yards from Seamus Coleman. Too many people don't realise the importance of the defensive work of the wide players, especially in 4-4-2. When we had Beckham and Giggs as the wide players, the work rate was absolutely phenomenal. And apart from the ability that they had, the actual work that they put in was one of the main reasons that we were winning league titles left, right, and centre in those days. So well done to Marcus. Little bit sloppy on the ball at times. I'm going to do my player ratings tomorrow. Hopefully, I like to watch it at least once more, sometimes twice more before I do my player ratings. Hopefully, he didn't give it quite as badly away as it seemed to me today, but it certainly looked to me. There was a few that I can remember. There was one where he was running through the inside left channel with Fred to his left, and should definitely give it to Fred. Decided to take another man on and lost it. I remember him bursting through he switched to the right wing at some stage in the second half after the subs were made. He got in a great position and tried to give it to Cavani and sliced it straight to the keeper. I remember one where Anthony Martial made a run through the inside left channel. It wasn't a difficult pass, and Marcus overhit it, and it went for the goal kick. So, on the ball, not fantastic, but diligent in his work rate, diligent in his job of tracking Seamus Coleman. So that midfield four today, deserve a pat on the back, all four of them. Mata, McTominay, Fred and Marcus Rashford. That's how they lined up today. Certainly for the first half they did anyway. With Bruno at number 10 and Anthony Martial at number 9. It's my favourite formation. It's a perfect format. We played in the same formation at Newcastle. We played in the same formation against Chelsea, and we played a couple of player changes, but personnel changes. But it was the same formation. It was the same formation today. We've only used that formation 3 times, and in the league we've had 7 league games: Newcastle away, Everton away, and Chelsea at home. And when you look at the other games, Spurs, Palace, Brighton, we were even shocking there despite winning and getting beat 1-0 at Arsenal. Our best games have been the games where we played 4-4-2. I don't think it's even arguable. So have a look at the video if you like, Ricky's Dream Team. You'll see what my favourite team is or what I'd like to see us play. But today was really close to it, and I wasn't surprised that we played quite well. I thought we played really well in the first half, to be honest. And Everton got a little bit more into the game in the second half. Okay, the international break is coming up. After the international break, we start back with 2 games. Let's be honest, no point beating about the bush. 2 games we would expect to win. No disrespect to West Brom. Can always be a tough game. Any game in the Premier League can be tough, but Manchester United at home to West Brom, you would normally expect a home win. Then they've got Basaksa here. I know they've just beaten us on their turf. We only played one of our proper midfield players, so hopefully Ollie's learned his lesson on that one. And then it's Southampton. That's the next particularly tricky fixture. Unbelievably, Southampton are top of the league. I knew they were doing well, Southampton, and I've watched them a couple of times, but it wasn't until last night's game finished, the Friday night game, when Southampton won 2-0 against Newcastle. It was only after that game that I knew that they were doing as well as they are. I didn't realise that by winning that game they went to the top. It shocked me when I saw it. I knew they were doing well, but I didn't know they were doing that well. So it probably won't last long. I'm sure it won't last long. But Southampton are, as I sit here at the moment, top of the league. So, well done to them. So we've got a tough game coming up, our third game back. Not that the first two games will be easy, but we've got West Brom away, and West Brom at home, and Besiktas here at home in the Champions League. The first two games back after the Champions League. I hope Ollie doesn't take those games and think we can win these games. I can afford to go with my supposed superstars. I can put Pogba in, and we can play a diamond, and then Pogba will do the work down the left. And I can get rid of one of my defensive midfield players and play another attacking midfield player. There's no need. Think about it. We've played with the two defensive midfield players away to Newcastle and scored 4. We've used them today away to Everton and scored 3. We don't need extra creative players. Just get players on the pitch who do the job right, keep it simple, and give the ball into the forwards and the midfield players who can play. That's their job, and we don't need to overload it with flamboyant players who are trying to force it all the time. Stick with the 4-4-2, get 2 simple players on the wides who give it easy, and get your 2 holding midfield players in, a good number 10 and a good number 9, and you've got every chance. As I say, have a look at Ricky's dream team, see what you think of my favourite team. So that's virtually that. Like I say, it's the international break coming up. England have got 3 games. I'll be watching all England's games. I'll do little recaps of the England games each morning after England have played. I'll also be watching as many United players as I possibly can when they're playing for their countries. Specifically, I hope Holland's games don't clash with England's games. If Van der Beek's playing for Holland specifically, I'll be watching him. I do believe his best position is number 10. He was given the job of partnering Matic really during the week in Turkey, and Bruno was at number 10. All he needs to realise that you've got to give the kid a chance in his favourite position. Don't worry about upsetting players and giving them a rest here and there. Maybe against Besiktas here at Old Trafford, he could try it. He could give Bruno a rest and put Van der Beek at 10. But Van der Beek needs to get a game in his favourite position. What can happen on a football pitch as well is you want to play in a certain position, and you tend to drift into that position if you're anywhere. And obviously, if you're playing right back, you're not going to drift towards the left wing. But if you're playing midfield and you like being a number 10, you're going to drift towards a little bit further forward. And this was what was happening the other night. So Van der Beek wants to get in those little pockets of space between the defenders and the midfield players, just like Bruno does. But Bruno's taking up the space that Van der Beek wants to get into. So look, any player's going to want to play, no matter what. If you said to Van der Beek playing left back today, he'd probably play left back willingly. But he really wants to play in the position where he can be the one who's finding those little pockets of space. And those little pockets of space don't become space if somebody is already in that hole. So when Bruno's taking up those positions, Van der Beek wants to get into those positions, it doesn't work properly. And hence, it isn't really a surprise that we got beat the other night. When he subbed Van der Beek, by the way, I was shocked the other night. I thought Van der Beek played great. So I'll be watching Van der Beek play for Holland if it's not clashing with the England game, and see what position he plays for Holland. I'll be watching the England games, and I'll be doing a little review of the games each morning or the afternoon, certainly the day after each game. I'm looking forward to West Brom away, the next game in a couple of weeks. If you enjoyed that video, please smash a like on it. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you didn't like it, keep stum, don't tell anyone.